Hello everyone, my name is Enzo and today my presentation is about electronic music, my process of making a song. So, how did I start making music? Well, ever since I was small, I would bang on pots and pans to make sound. Eventually, my parents decided to get me a drum set around the age of 3 or 4. And since then, I got many other instruments and taught myself some basic guitar and piano. So around the age of 7, I decided to try out being in a band. I was a drummer and we had a singer and a guitarist. The singer was female, and we all had lots of disagreements on what songs to do, and also what to name the band. And of course, I knew the moment she suggested the name Rainbow Unicorns, I made a big mistake. So, what's the purpose of my presentation, and how did I start making electronic music? Well, ever since the unicorn days, I still wanted to make music that sounded like what I enjoyed listening to. Unfortunately, I did not have the people or the tools to do so, and that's how I found electronic music. I found it more as a way of making music, not necessarily the genre many people know it as today. I think it's really great because you can do it pretty much anytime, anywhere, as long as you have a laptop and an internet connection, and you only need the internet to download the software. Plus, there's plenty of free software out there. You don't need a big studio or crew members. So, let's move on to some misconceptions people have about electronic music. A lot of people say the EDM market, or electronic dance music market, is very small, and not many people listen to the music. However, this is not true. Last year, Billboard.com reported that the global EDM market was worth $7.3 billion. Another common misconception, though this one is more opinion, is that electronic music sounds fake, or lacks the emotion and feel that real played instruments have. However, this may not be true. For example, the movie scores of the movies Pirates of the Caribbean and the original Batman trilogies may have used digital instruments and synthesizers. I say this because the composer who made those, his name is Hans Zimmer, is known for his use of digital instruments and synthesizers in his movie scores. He also uses a popular trick called sampling, which is taking a sound from the real world and putting it into your song. What he does in particular is he records notes of famous players of certain instruments, such as the violin, and then he'll load those onto his keyboard and start messing around until he finds something that he likes. So something everybody needs to know before they actually start making electronic music, which I did not know, is that it takes way more time than you might think. For example, my songs take around 2 to 3 days to make each, for only around 3 minutes worth of music. Of course, if you're just starting out, your music will probably not be that good, and it may sound like a waste of time. To me, it's really worth it, but to some people, that's something you may want to know. So, a huge part of electronic music is loops. Here I have a picture of a drum loop. I have a drum loop pictured here because it's the most simple loop. Pretty much you just have pre-recorded sounds that may have come with your audio editor that you just put in a loop that you might like. So, with the melodical loop, it's much more difficult. First, you need an instrument. I tend to make my own instruments. That takes around 45 minutes to an hour. Once that's done, I can start dealing with melody and all that stuff. So if I can't think of a melody, sometimes I'll listen to some inspiration. This can be music from pretty much any genre, as long as it kind of gets me in the right mood for what I'm trying to do. Usually when I'm listening to a song, I'll think of something that I like, and then I'll open up my audio editor, and I'll start making it. The thing that's helped me the most is my external synthesizer. It's the very same keyboard I got around the age of 3 or 4. Luckily, we got a really good one, and I figured out how to hook it up to my computer. Now I can load all my instruments and sounds onto it. The final resort for myself and many other electronic music producers is a preset sound file or a preset Midi file. This is a preset sound file. This is pretty much uneditable. It's kind of like you recorded yourself saying something. Once it's done, you can't really change it that much. However, a preset Midi file is a set of notes, kind of frozen in time you can load any instrument onto. You can also edit these as long as they're properly formatted. So this is what a Midi editor looks like. The horizontal length of the notes is how long they last, and the vertical positioning of the notes is the pitch. As you can see on the left side, you have those black and white rectangles. That's basically a keyboard, and so you can plot the notes where you want them. So I made a song specifically for this presentation. I have a bunch of loops that I created myself. I did not make any of these instruments, so you can find them all in the default presets of Ableton Live. So this is my first loop, this is the lead sound. This is the bass line. I have 2 clips of this because it alternates throughout the song. basically it fills in the gaps, and when you change it, it feels like something subtly has changed. It kind of keeps the song feeling more fresh and less robotic. And finally, this is the drums loop. This is the most simple. This is basically, as you can see, there's no real notes you can plot. It's just the preset sounds. This is what it looks like. So now that you've seen all that, this is what it looks like when it's all been put together. So at the top, you can see the lead layer as well as a highlighted MIDI clip in purple. That MIDI clip is the very same set of notes I showed you at the very beginning. However, it's been zoomed out and you can't actually see which notes are being specifically used. So when a white line goes across the screen called the playhead, it'll hit those little black dots, and that's when it will play the notes. The next layer is a drums layer in pink, in blue the bass layer, and in purple the ambient layer. On the far right, we have the audio settings where I can adjust things like the volume, and on the very bottom, the instrument and effect settings where I can add effects like an echo or a reverb. So now that you've seen all that, this is the final song. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and were able to learn at least a little bit about electronic music.